Are you personally ready to start your nonprofit? In the next 5 minutes, we'll cover the key things you personally need to create a nonprofit that lasts long enough to make a tremendous impact. Hey, I'm Dan Johnson with Next Level Nonprofits. I've started 4 nonprofits personally and raised over $3 million for early stage nonprofit organizations. Here's what I've learned about how to know when you're personally ready to give you the best chance at success. If you want the goods, drop me below to get the 7 steps to raise startup funding for your nonprofit. Now, if you're thinking about starting a nonprofit, one of the questions you probably have is, can I do it? Is it right for me? And from both starting 4 of my own and from helping over 30 business owners and professionals start their nonprofits, I've found 5 key things that you really need to have in order to be personally ready to start a nonprofit organization. So the 5 key things are, number 1, you need an idea that you're passionate about, that this is the legacy you want to leave. Social change is hard, and if you're starting a nonprofit, you're looking to solve a problem that hundreds, if not thousands of people have failed to solve before you. And you need to be really serious about which problem that is, because it's going to take you 10, 20, 30 years to make a really significant impact on that problem. So you need to have a problem that is deep enough, that is important enough to you, that this is the problem you want to leave. Solving this problem or addressing this problem is the legacy you want to leave to your kids, to your grandkids, and to the people around you. That's the kind of thing that will keep you going when doing the nonprofit work is tough. Number 2 is you need to have a consistent source of income that pays all of your bills. This is a job or a business that you have grown to the point where you have a reliable income coming through it. If you either are looking for employment or you are starting up a business, do not start a nonprofit. It will be really difficult for you to both start a business and a nonprofit, and you won't get paid by your nonprofit for about 3 years, 2 to 3 years. You need to make sure that your bills are completely covered before you go out and start helping people. The third thing along the line of money that you need is $10,000 in startup capital. Nonprofits are businesses, or a kind of business, and starting a nonprofit requires you to have enough money to give you enough runway to figure out what works. And that, in my experience, is a minimum of $10,000 in startup capital, either yourself or that you can get it from others. This covers things like, if you're going to do your nonprofit registration right, it's going to cost around $2,500. If you're going to get a half decent website or web presence or any kind of marketing, you're probably looking at about $2,500 for that. You want to hire a nonprofit coach or consultant who's been there before and who can walk you through what you need to do. That's also going to cost you at least a couple more grand. And then you want a couple grand for your just incidental expenses that you're going to be running into as you build the nonprofit, from everything from website hosting to maybe phone lines to little things you need to purchase, whatever. If you're trying to start it with less than $10K in startup capital, you're going to run into a lot of problems. You need to have $10,000 in startup capital or be able to get it. Number 4, you need 10 hours per week to dedicate at a minimum to your nonprofit. Nonprofits are tougher than for-profits because the revenue cycle is a little bit different. You have to both make an impact and raise money, and that takes more time. So you need at least 10 hours per week to dedicate at a minimum of free time to your nonprofit. And finally, you need a network of 10 to 15 people who are excited about your idea. The best way to tell if your nonprofit is actually worth going forward is if you have people who really want the problem you're looking to solve solved and are interested in an organization that might solve it, however that might be. So you need a network of 10 to 15 people who are interested in your idea, who can serve as your initial board members, who can serve as your initial team, who can serve as some of your initial donors. If you try to start a nonprofit without a network, you will struggle a lot more than if you start one with a network. Now, do all of these have to be in place to start a nonprofit? Not necessarily, and I've started one of mine without some of them. But if these are in place that actually tell you're ready to start a nonprofit, as opposed to you're starting before you're ready. If you have these, you're in a good position to start your nonprofit. The number one most common one of these people are lacking tends to be funding. So if you want my 7 steps to raise startup funding for your nonprofit, just drop me below and I'll make sure that you get it. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you at the next video.